Hey, it's me. I'm doing another squishy makeover video, and we're gonna do it the spin the wheel way today, where the squishies that I paint in this episode get randomly selected by a wheel. I like the challenge of this. You guys like watching me
be challenged.
Normally, I use a wheel app, but instead of using the app today, oh, it doesn't fit in the frame. Oh no. So we're gonna spin the wheel. Put it back here, that's fine. Good. Boom! I just thought that this would be a little bit more fun than using the app, minus the fact that you have to look at my terrible handwriting. I'm sorry about that. These are all labels for bins that I have of squishies. Whichever one it lands on is the bin that I have to choose the squishy from. This wheel does have 2 extra spaces. I added my choice and spin again. They're kind of throwaway spaces, but what can you do? Let's spin it. Okay, it lands on my beauties. Let me get that bin. Move over. These are the ones that I've set aside. They're precious, set apart, and special. In other words, my favorites. I'm just gonna reach in and grab, oh no, freaking human squishy. This squishy is actually one that I bought myself a long time ago. I had high hopes for her. Now looking at this, it kind of makes me want to throw up. I've had some bad experiences in the past trying to make humans not look terrifying. But, I can't change the one that I pulled from the bin. This is the one that we must do. So let's do that, starting with squishy roasting. Okay, so I actually bought this at Target a few years ago because I thought she was just so stinking adorable. She's a princess, complete with a poofy dress and a crown. Got this little regal pose. It's starting to rip in several different places. That's proof I did use it, but I was basically just waiting for it to wear out so that I could give it a makeover, because that's all I really bought it for. Not that I would ever let this get into the kind of condition that I've seen some of the poor creatures y'all have sent to me. I don't even know how that happens. I know I have no right to say this after the atrocities that I'm responsible for, but her face is a little lacking, okay? There's zero color to it. Even her lips are just white. But for a human squishy, she's really not that bad. Let's begin with the sanding. I mean, the skin treatment.
Spa day, princess. Let's do it, girl.
It's a very gentle exfoliation. Oh, your skin is peeling off. Yeah, don't worry. That's normal. I want to give this princess a theme. She's gonna be Donut Princess. No. Donut Queen. Queen of donuts. So I'm gonna use Crusty Donut number 1 and Crusty Donut number 2 to help me with this. Let me just pull off that nasty drizzle. Oh, that feels good. Pluck out this thing, and I'm gonna try to make it look like she's holding a massive donut. Well, it's a mini donut, but proportionately massive. Proportionately or proportionally? Proportionally. They both sound kind of right and kind of wrong at the same time. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna cut it in half like a bagel, and that way it'll lay down flat against her, and I'm gonna hot glue this on. Goody. And now for the other donut, I'm gonna create a type of headdress. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I mean, hey, she's a donut queen, okay? This is not the time to be subtle. So I'm gluing that on her head just like that. It's beautiful. Now for the slick paint to do its job. Time to seal the pieces together, fill up all those little cracks and gaps, repairing the damage that I did from my constant squishing of this, and also helping to smooth out any rough and lumpy spots. There. And she's ready to paint, starting with a white base coat. Right now, the donuts look pretty, what's the word? What I mean is, it's ugly. Especially the one on her head. But you know what? I think she belongs in some kind of fantasy Candyland type of place. She doesn't belong in our world, and that's why she looks so dumb. In her world, this is perfectly normal, so don't make fun of her native headdress. Now the base coat is done. Time for paint. Popping this open. Now, since she is Donut Queen, the Queen of Donuts, that's her full formal title, please use it. I wanted to use the same color for her skin and the donuts to kind of tie them together.
They are one.
So I went with this kind of orangey tan color that I use for vanilla cake and donuts a lot, but it's not a very flattering skin tone. So I scooped a bunch of it out. I'm not sure why I did that, actually. What did I do with that paint? What, did I eat it? I'm thinking something a little softer and more neutral will probably work better. Oh, yes. Whew, that is much nicer. Except, oh boy, we've got something else now. She's having a bit of acne trouble. This might be a reaction to the gentle exfoliating scrub. Let's just cake on some makeup right there. Cover it up, lay it on thick. That'll do the trick. That sounds like a horrible tagline. Oh, right over the mouth. Perfect. Moving ahead, and I'm gonna start on the face. I've kind of already started off camera because I needed to focus. Of course, I'm gonna start with some blush on her cheeks. After messing with that for a while, I'm going in for the lips. Oh no. It looks like she's having some trouble applying her makeup. It's okay, dear. We've all been there. That's not gonna work. I wanted to go for a similar eye shape as the original. Gosh. She looks like a raccoon. Oh, geez. Okay. I went in to very slowly and patiently try to fix it and clean everything up. Eyelashes and eyebrows. That'll help, right? Well, I tried. Okay, so at this point, it's clear I really need to focus. So off camera, I worked on her, and this is what I ended up with. You know what? I don't hate it. You know, she's not perfect, but I've learned my lesson, and I know this is the time to stop. Let's move on to the rest of her. Of course, I'm gonna give her colorful hair because that's fun, and it'll add to that kind of fantasy magical thing that I'm going for. So her hair starts with pink at the top, and then blends into purple, and then ends with the green, which was actually quite difficult to blend with the purple, but after a lot of fussing and fighting, I finally got it looking decent enough. I'm particularly proud of this purple streak through that curl. That's a moment, and I love it. Next, I need to address the dress. I'm giving it a white background to start. Kind of looks like a wedding dress. Do we need a donut royal couple wedding? No. Yeah, probably not. I'm gonna go in and start adding a bunch of details to the dress and a pink ombre look to the bottom of the dress, which of course took forever to blend. You gotta choose a point to stop, and I chose this point right here. That's where I'm gonna stop. For her crown and the little beaded accents on her sleeves, I put down a layer of white because I want a nice solid base coat here for when I add the metallic gold on top.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
This is really gonna help with her credibility as a queen. I mean, what color was the crown originally? Blue? Yeah, no. Nobody trusts that girl. She definitely needed some glitz and gold. Now, to emphasize the donut theme a little more, I decided to add sprinkles all over her dress, which means... There we are. Currently, she looks more like Queen of flesh-colored bagels. What? So I'm gonna add frosting to the donuts to make them look more like donuts. I went with white for the one on her head and purple for the one that she's holding. Yes, that is looking so much better. And of course, I'm adding sprinkles to the donuts themselves. I've already used the sprinkle song once, so let's just sit for a moment of silence and respect. Okay, and the other donut gets a nice drizzle. And here is the final before and after. Oh, she looks so adorable. So much more detail and color. Oh, my voice just did some weird things. I'm actually really happy with this makeover, and I'm pleasantly surprised because I didn't think it was gonna go well, but I really like the design and the colors and all the decoration that she's got going on. It's so much more fitting for a queen. Even though her face is slightly awkward looking, I kind of like it. I don't know. And you know who would be the perfect pet for her? Nilla. Except for the fact that the dog is like, you know, twice her size. They are perfect together. Anyway, okay, we are back to the wheel for the second spin.
Are you ready?
Hopeless. The hopeless bin. Last time I chose something from this bin, it took me an entire video to give it a makeover because it was pretty darn awful. I think we're gonna be capped out at 2 squishies for this episode. Sometimes 1 squishy is enough, sometimes 3 is enough, sometimes 2 is enough, sometimes 3 feels like too much, 2 feels like too little, 3 feels like too much, sometimes 1 feels like too little, sometimes 1 feels like too much. We don't have a set number of squishies that we do anymore, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. Okay. Okay, here is the hopeless bin, the hopeless bin, the hopeless bin. It makes me very sad. This wheel has been very unkind to me so far. If you're new, the hopeless bin is exactly what it sounds like. People send me squishies and occasionally they send me stuff that's in such bad condition, borderline unrepairable. I put ones like that in this bin. Taking the lid off and I'm not looking and I'm choosing at random. Oh no, this thing, the hollowed out watermelon cube, it's been scraped empty. Whoever sent this was a blonde. So much hair. What in the world can I do with this? We're just gonna have to do it. Let's do it now. So someone sent me this squishy and I've been hanging on to it even though it's pretty much wrecked. For some reason, the squishy has been ripped open and the insides have been ripped out. It's barely even a squishy anymore. Until I really started looking at this, I thought that it was just a cube-shaped watermelon, but I'm noticing the texture of it and I think it might actually be a watermelon-themed bread loaf. That's kind of cool. Maybe we'll stick with that. First, I need to replace the guts of this squishy, so I've got a giant hunk of memory foam. It's so soft and pure. And I'm gonna try to rip off a piece and keep ripping hunks off until I've got a chunk that fits nicely inside. I'm gonna use small amounts of hot glue to repair all the rips that are all over the place on this thing. Definitely trying to go minimal with the amount of hot glue I'm using. If you use too much, you will get little creepy hard spots in the squishy, which is just gross feeling. Luckily, this started looking much better very quickly. There was just one little hole over here that I just have to bloop. I'm plugging that up and trimming off the excess. Fortunately, there's so much of that bread texture all over this, which is going to help camouflage the hot mess that's really going on here. Puffy paint, you've got a lot of work to do. I'm using my puffy paint for the repairs. Usually I just use this on the ripped areas where needed, but I'm basically just going to apply this over the entire squishy. There's just so much damage and chaos all over this thing. It's just bad. It's all bad. So this is going to need lots and lots of puffy paint, which means lots and lots of drying time. Although, to be honest, this really wasn't as much work as I thought it was going to be. I mean, the damage was extensive, but since it's such a simple shape, it really wasn't all that difficult to repair. I guess I was worried for nothing. Oh no. Eventually, all those rips and cracks did get sealed up and jumping into the paint. Now, most of the time with my squishy makeovers, I turn the squishies into something completely new and different. I remove things, I add things, or minimum, I just completely change the look of it. But for this one, I thought it might be kind of fun to actually kind of stick with the original design. So I'm keeping the watermelon bread thing. I have switched it to a pastel green watermelon to make it a little cute. And doesn't it feel good to cover up that tragedy? It took many coats of that green paint to completely hide the neon pink, since I didn't bother to do a base coat for some reason. Alright, I've got the green background, so now of course I'm painting on the watermelon stripes. You know, it's been a while since I've done something watermelon. I used to do it all the time, to the point where people would get mad at me. How does watermelon make somebody so angry? That's probably why I stopped doing it so much, honestly. They killed my watermelon spirit. Those two tones of green, the waviness of those stripes. It's good to be back. Things did get a little wonky in that area where all the stripes converge. It became a little bit of a traffic jam over there, but I think I did clean it up enough in the end. So now for the actual flesh of the watermelon, I like to do it in pink because, once again, cute. The color combination is just so delish. I love it. This was really such a chill and enjoyable paint job. I mean, it was just so easy. Just a simple design on a simple shape. I'm chillin'. And this is where the watermelon really pops, adding that white line all the way around to look like the rind. It kind of looks more like candy than bread, but I guess that's not a bad thing. And last, I'm gonna add some brown seeds in there. I thought about making the seeds into the shape of little hearts for more cute. That might be overdoing it just a little bit, so let's just stick with normal seeds. Adding my signature on the little butt, and here it is, the before and after. This isn't wasn't as dramatic of a transformation as many of my makeovers are, but I think it's pretty satisfying to see the new and fresh version of that terribly busted squishy. This was so much more simple and easier than expected, but I do like it. I suppose I could have added more to it, but there wasn't anything that I thought it really needed, so I got off kind of easy with this one. I love how the colors of the two squishies go together so perfectly. They look adorable together. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these makeovers. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!